Chapter 13. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Later in the evening, you sit at a formal dinner between Philippe and Adele, surrounded by both new and familiar first-class passengers. But there's no mistaking your host, Captain Edward Smith.
It's a pleasure to dine with you all this evening. I hope the voyage has treated you all well so far.
I can't wait to tell him all about Theo. It's been splendid, Captain Smith, thanks to you and your crew. And one crew member in particular. Thoughts of Theo creep into your mind, and the thoughts of all that you've shared together. Your skin tingles aching for his touch again. The number of events aboard the ship is quite impressive. I hear there's an entire gala in just a few days.
It's all my wife has been talking about since we boarded.
Of course it is. I plan on wearing my most beautiful gown. I know. I'm looking forward to attending. That is, if I can convince the most beautiful lady aboard to accompany me. He pauses, shooting a smoldering gaze in your direction that rudely intrudes on your thoughts. I am sure anyone would be happy to attend with you, Philippe. Anyone besides me, that is. I am quite the catch, I admit. Ugh. Luckily, neither Adele nor Philippe appear to have caught the faint edge of sarcasm in your voice. As Philippe preens beneath your compliment, Adele beams at you in delight. Someone better start reeling him in.
I wish I could attend, but I'm afraid my official duties will keep me occupied.
Oh dear, that's a shame.
I'll have to request a photograph of the event to send to my wife. Life apart on the sea can be hard on us sometimes. But collecting mementos of my voyages helps us feel a little closer together.
Theo and I have made plenty of memories of our own, and we're not even halfway done with the trip. Thoughts of your time together preoccupy you as a waiter quietly places your food, ordered at Philippe's insistence, in front of you. This was cost 6 months of Theo's wages. Roasted duck. You don't know, though. Shut up. Personally, I'm hoping my rather large fortune will entice my future wife to stay with me.
I see. And what other qualities are you looking for in a wife, Lord DuPont?
I've always pictured myself as someone beautiful, of course. Although lately, I've begun to wonder if intelligence isn't just as important. As he says the words aloud, Philippe looks meaningfully in your direction, and you wonder if he has ever had a thought that could be considered intelligent. But I have a mission more important than surviving one of Philippe's blustering tangents. Captain Smith, I happen to know a hard-working stoker who would love to meet you. His name's Theo. He's spoken highly of your command of the sea. A stoker, as in one of those boiler workers? Surely you don't mean to suggest that the captain should waste his limited time with a crewman, Violet. Captain, his hard work deserves to be rewarded. I'm sorry, Captain. I'm afraid this is one of my sister's flights of fancy. I suppose a woman's soft-hearted nature can't be helped. It's sweet, in a way.
There are many on the ship who toil diligently, but it would be nice to see some of them properly rewarded. Tell me more about this, Theo.
In the seat next to Adele stiffens, shooting you a look of warning. Must we speak of this Theo here? We'll speak of Theo wherever the hell I so choose. This may be the only opportunity to talk Theo up and make sure the captain has a positive impression of him. If I don't take this chance, I may always regret it. Yes, we must. The captain deserves to know what sort of talent he has on his crew. You turn to Captain Smith, determined to sing Theo's praises, no matter what. I actually ran into Theo on my very first afternoon aboard. He rescued me from a pickpocket who stole my bracelet.
Good Lord, a pickpocket here on the Titanic.
What a dreadful experience. You must have been terrified. Mostly furious, but fortunately, Theo kept me safe. He even helped me repair my bracelet when the thief tore its clasp. As it happens, I'm wearing it right now. How wonderful. Really? I can't believe it was ever damaged. I never would have been able to tell. I'm glad he was kind enough to repair our great-grandmother's heirloom.
Impressive. It's not every day you hear of such dedication from a passing crew member.
You lean forward in your seat, gazing earnestly at Captain Smith. Well, Theo may come from a humble means, but he's worked hard to earn a place on this incredible ship. You will never meet someone so naturally talented. A single look at him is all that it takes to realize Theo was meant for this life. I've never seen anyone so home on the water before, not even you, Captain.
Is that so?
Plenty of people from all walks of life are talented, but that doesn't entitle them to the captain's time. Glare at Philippe, indignation burning in your chest. Well, perhaps if I was a man, you'd take my opinion more seriously. But regardless of how you feel, I've come to expect better manners from our host. To your surprise, both the captain and your sister nod along in agreement with you. This Theo did my family a service, repairing our bracelet. I ask that you repay him. Surely you can take a few minutes to give such a hard-working member of your crew some advice. I haven't seen Adele look so impressed since we toured the palace of Versailles. You hold your breath as the captain picks up a spoon in thought, like a waiter brings several delicious-looking desserts to the table.
It's been some time since someone has so fervently recommended to me. I'd like to meet this Theo and see the man for myself. And since you were so eloquent on his behalf, Miss Cahalm, I'd like to meet with both of you tomorrow.
Thank you, Captain. You have no idea how much this will mean to him. It appears you mean a rather lot to you as well. I'm simply repaying a debt. No. I mean, it's both, but excited to do someone a kindness. We should try to help the less fortunate when we can, right, sister?
Adele purses her lips slightly, but nods.
Of course. Just try not to become too invested in this one act of charity. Early the following afternoon, you find yourself pacing back and forth in your bedroom in eager anticipation. I can't wait to surprise Theo with good news. Thoughts of Theo's excitement race in your mind, and thoughts of how he might show his appreciation. A hand on your hips, warm breath against your neck. Pull yourself together, Violet. You're seeing the captain soon. Pausing in front of the mirror, you glance thoughtfully down at your dress and then at the other outfits hanging in your closet. Although looking my best is bound to make a good impression on Theo's behalf, and on Theo himself. You consider a low-cut silken shirt and coat with a matching luxurious skirt, one that you can picture Theo running his hands beneath. Correct me if I'm wrong, but shouldn't we have bought an outfit for meeting with the captain? Perhaps making that dinner a little bit longer than what we had, etc. No, okay. Slipping in your beautiful new dress, you turn to admire yourself in the mirror. In a dress like this, I'm sure to do Theo proud, in more ways than one. Now to tell him about the surprise. A few minutes later, you know when choices takes its time, your heart pounds with eagerness as you knock on Theo's door. Come in. You slip inside and close the door behind you, giving Theo a mischievous smile. Pleasure and surprise flash across his face.
Violet, what are you doing here?
Sneaking in to find you, obviously. He sets the book he was reading aside. His eyes widen in appreciation as his gaze travels down your new dress, lingering on the low cut of your silk neckline.
You look even finer than usual. Is there a special occasion I don't know about?
Believe it or not, I'm here to take you to the bridge.
Next, you'll tell me you brought me a captain's hat. So what strings have you pulled?
The one to let me arrange a special conversation with the captain for you.
Wait, for me and the captain? Theo shakes his head in disbelief. I can't believe you'd go through all that for me. I've never had anyone support me like you do, someone who always in my corner.
You step closer in the small bedroom. You can feel warmth radiating from his skin. Well, I happen to like being in your corner. His lips curve upward into a sensual smile. Heat radiates through you in response.
Maybe I could show you how much that means to me. And just how much I like seeing you in that dress.
Your pulse speeds with excitement as he steps forward, capturing your mouth in a passionate kiss. Instinctively, you tighten your grip around his shoulders, pulling him closer. Please do. To your delight, he slips his hand beneath your dress, just as you'd imagine, sliding his calloused fingers up your smooth thigh. You gasp in pleasure. He traces over your underwear to find the swollen nub of your womanhood, teasing you languorously through the fabric. By the time Theo steps away, which feels all too soon, you're shuddering with desire.
How's that for a demonstration?
I'd call it a good start. Never heard a woman's womanhood described as a nub. I'm sorry, it's just... Yeesh. Anyway, Theo's excitement is obvious, but his smile soon fades.
I just hope it all goes well.
What's wrong? I hope you're not feeling ill. I did think the haddock looked a little suspect this morning.
It's not the fish, Violet. I'm just feeling a little nervous.
You nervous? You stare at him in surprise. He ducks his head a little in embarrassment.
It happens to the best of us.
I've never seen him nervous before. He's normally so confident, but this is oddly adorable. You feel a surge of affection as he rubs the back of his neck, looking up at you.
It's just I've never gotten to talk to the captain before, and I want to make the most of it. It's not like I'm expecting a promotion or anything, but surely the captain can give me advice on my career.
Don't worry. It's natural to have a few nerves. They're normal. Then they're not going to stop you from having a productive conversation.
I just have to make a good impression. I can't come off like this is the first boat I've ever seen in my life.
He starts to nervously pace the room, muttering to himself.
Hello, Captain Smith. Salutations, Captain Smith. Aye, aye, Captain.
If you want, the two of us could talk through your worries together. Rehearse some things to say. It could help you relax. He pauses, his eyes widening. Hopefully, at your suggestion, desire ripples through you and responds.
That's a great idea, Violet. But I don't want to trouble you. You already have done so much for me.
It wouldn't be too much trouble. And I can think of a few other ways to help him relax while we're alone. Imagine running your hands over Theo's warm body, savoring the salty, sweet taste of his skin. With my hands in a few minutes alone, I could make him forget all of his worries.
Don't Theo, relax.
Let me help settle your nerves, I insist.
Well, if the lady insists, what exactly do you have in mind?
You can feel your pulse drumming in your chest as you step forward, nodding towards the bunk. Why won't you lay down to start to get comfortable? Theo obeys, stretching his long, lean frame out on the Nero bunk. You sit down next to him, reveling in the warmth press of his body against your thigh. Now take a few deep breaths, nice and slow.
Like this.
You place your hand over his heart as he draws a deep breath, testing the gentle rise and fall of his chest. At the feel of his broad, well-muscled chest beneath your fingers, your own breath grows slightly ragged. Yes, just like that. Now, I want you to think about how you've been wanting to talk to the captain since this trip has started. As you speak, your hand slips ever so slightly lower on his chest, tracing the top of his flat stomach.
I was thinking I could start by telling him about my background. Maybe if he realizes how far I've already come, he'll understand how serious I am about captaining my own ship one day.
As he speaks, you can feel his chest rising and falling more quickly beneath your hand.
But what if I mess up, or sound like a fool in front of the captain?
If it comes to that, I'm sure Captain Smith would understand. He may be captain, but he is still a man. There must have been a time when he also wanted to prove himself. You reach for one of Theo's hands, squeezing it reassuringly. He squeezes your hand back, his fingers warm against your bare skin.
You're right. I've never thought of it like that before.
You shift slightly closer to him, gentle movement sending a tug of desire through your eager body. The most important thing is for you to be honest, confident, relaxed. He glances up at you with a rueful expression. To be honest, I never felt less relaxed in my life. Slowly, subtly, you slip your hand another inch closer to his waistband, your skin growing flush with excitement. Trust me, Theo, close your eyes and take another deep breath. As he obediently closes his eyes, you take a deep breath of your own. Then, quickly unbuckling his belt, you slide your hand inside his trousers to... Yep. Basically, we got handy. Oh, the pun is horrible. He lies breathless and panting beneath you for a long moment, his desire spent as you drink in the beautiful sight of him. So are you feeling more relaxed? No. He looks at you with a slightly dazed smile and laughs. You could say that. Relaxed and very, very aware of just how lucky I am. He reaches out to catch your hand. But how about you? His thumb brushes over your knuckles, the touch tentative, inviting. I feel like I owe you some thanks. But despite the slickness between your thighs and the heat in your veins, you shake your head. You can thank me later. Right now, we mustn't be late. Theo nods, and with your help, he straightens his clothes and buttons his collar all the way up, tugging on his vest. All right. I'll remember that. Remember to zip up. A short time later, you and Theo arrive on the bow to meet the Captain Smith. How are your nerves holding up? After what you did, I feel like I'm going to be just fine. He rests a thankful hand on your shoulder, and you feel flush with power, knowing you made him feel better. Captain Smith strides confidently out of the bridge, nodding politely to you and Theo. It's lovely to see you again, Miss Calhoun. Good afternoon, Captain Smith. Thank you again for meeting with us. This is Theo, and he can introduce himself. The name's Theo Carter. It's good to meet you, Captain Smith. Being in charge of an ocean liner like this must be a huge, a big responsibility. You might say it's a titanic responsibility. Oh, he did a dad pun. So the ship's name is, to make sure you don't forget. Theo's face lights up in enthusiasm as the captain reaches out to shake his hand. I've been hearing your name a great deal lately. It's a pleasure to meet you, despite the unorthodox circumstances. The joy is all mine, Captain Smith. I've dreamed of being a captain since I was a boy. It may not be an easy job, Theo, but it's certainly one worth the doing. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you may have. Taking advantage of the beautiful weather, the three of you head off on a stroll around the Titanic's bow. Well, if you want to be any sort of captain one day, you should know how the ship works. Tell me, why does the Titanic have 4 smokestacks if only 3 of them are used? Theo looks calm and confident as he strolls beside the captain, and he answers without hesitation. The 4th stack is for ventilation. A single smokestack is much neater solution than cluttering the deck with smaller ventilation shafts. Captain Smith gives an approving nod. And what about the lifeboat? How many people can they hold? Theo smiles, the answer already on his lips. Each one of the 20 lifeboats can hold 58 people, Captain Smith. Not that we'll need them, of course. Well, it seems you've done your research. Knowing your vessel, like your own hand, is critical to being a successful captain. Theo is doing wonderfully so far. I knew he would make a good impression. As the captain leads you on through the deck hallways, Theo shoots you a brief, nervous look, wiping a bead of sweat from his brow. Smile encouragingly at him. Theo, catching his eye, you aim an encouraging smile in his direction and mouth a few words. You can do this, I know you can. He grins back, the joy on his face making your heart skip a beat. But, turning the corner, you walk straight into a dispute between 2 crew members. I've had just about enough of your excuses.
I've had just about enough of your accusations.
The captain chuckles softly as you all approach Samuel and another stoker who are deep in an argument.
Knowing your ship is one thing, Mr. Carter, but here you can see the harder part of a captain's job, managing the crew. Captain Smith, we didn't mean to bother you, sir.
It's just that my roommate here keeps stealing the top bunk.
For the last time, it's not stealing. The beds are first come, first serve. Can I help it if I'm always go to bed before you?
There are a lot of emotions flying here. Could either of you give more information on this disagreement? I'm pretty sure they just did. Like what? It made it clear that this man is a bunk thief. Like, have you tried taking turns? Well, not really. Our schedules have always been different. I always get back later.
You know, I work the morning shift. I need to be in bed early. Interesting. What do you think, Mr. Carter?
These two have been making assumptions about each other instead of talking it out.
Well, only if you put it that way.
This is a chance to try something you've never done before and make a bunk sharing schedule. I'll even make one for you if you can't agree on anything.
Well, that works for me. I suppose a schedule would be fair. Thanks for the help, Theo.
As the other stokers hurry away, Captain Smith turns to Theo in approval.
I'm impressed. Not everyone can think so quickly on their feet. I can see why Miss Calhoun was so keen to talk you up at dinner. You have the makings of a fine captain in you, Theo, even if you still have a lot of work ahead of you. Thank you, Captain Smith. That means a lot to me.
And what about... This is a tough one. I'm gonna go with Theo's work. Before long, our journey will be over, as will Theo's job as a stoker. What do you suggest he does next, Captain Smith?
I'll write a few of my connections when the Titanic reaches New York and introduce you. I know several captains on smaller ships. You'd have a much more opportunity to work towards a higher rank. You won't regret it, Captain. I promise you that.
Do you have any final advice for Theo, Captain Smith?
I'd say you shall sail as much as you can, whether it's on fishing boats or luxury cruise ships. Knowing the wind and the water is important, no matter what size of boat you hope to captain one day. I love being out on the water. You'll have to stop me from sailing. Never lose those sea legs, Theo. Now, I should be getting back to the bridge. And before I go, I have a small gift for you.
His eyes widen in shock as Captain Smith reaches into his coat and pulls out a captain's hat, handing it over to Theo.
After all, every good captain needs a hat.
Fit for a man like Theo. Theo takes the hat reverently in his hand and bows to the captain, his eyes shining with gratitude.
I can't thank you enough for your time, Captain Smith.
Thank you so much, Captain. We'll never forget your kindness. The second the captain leaves, Theo pulls you close, capturing your mouth in a kiss. Despite your public surroundings, you can't help cling to him, deepening the kiss in return. Theo... For a long moment, you remain locked together in a passionate swirl of heat and emotion. When he finally pulls away, his eyes are bright.
That was everything I hoped it would be.
The visit with the captain, or the kiss?
Both. And it was all thanks to you. I can never thank you enough for everything you've done for me, Violet. But I'd like to try.
You know you don't have to.
But I want to if you're willing to visit me below decks.
I'm intrigued. What exactly do you have in mind? His answer is a familiar roguish grin that sets your heart beating even faster.
If you want to find out, you'll have to come with me.
Ah, look at that. Postpone till next week, everyone. Remember that if you did enjoy, to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description, plenty of things to check out there, ways to support the channel and this content and the whole 9 yards. With that being said, there's also the features of join and thanks that are implemented on YouTube right next to the like and subscribe buttons. So, with that being said, hopefully you all did enjoy the work that I do, the readings, yada yada. With that being said, once again, it is very much appreciated that you watched, and I hope to see you all on the next video. Peace out.